Joining me is someone who's not just a brilliant singer, but an equally good music composer, a fantastic pianist, super talented, and his remarkable contribution in the music industry has also got him Padma Shri Award. Welcome to India Today Television, Adnan ji. It's always a pleasure talking to you. How are you and how have you been?
Thank you very much. It's wonderful to be here. I'm feeling wonderful and very excited about my new song. Every time it feels as if it's the first time. You know what I mean. Yeah. So it's the usual butterflies in the stomach and hope people like it. But I feel great. I feel wonderful.
Yeah, I wanted to just quickly begin by asking you about the same only. What is your current state of mind now that your song is out, Alvida, your first track ever since the pandemic hit the world? I remember talking to you in Delhi in 2020 when we met for your song, Tu Yaad Aaya, and you spoke about your comeback after a gap of 9 years.
Yeah. Well, the thing was that then suddenly the world changed as we knew it. And now with this new release, it seems almost as if it's the first time. I'm as as nervous and anxious and excited as I would have been in my first release. So I always approach my work, my music with that kind of attitude. I never like to be complacent in any way. I always like to work with the same intensity as I would do it, as if I were doing it for the first time. So there's no change in that respect. But it's overwhelming because of the kind of love and appreciation that I've received so far. I'm very, very grateful and very excited and very, very happy,
Adnan ji, if you could sing a few lines of your track, Alvida.
Sure. Hole hole haathon se haat tune chhode, hole hole ख्वाबों के तार तूने तोड़े, है कसम हमें दिल को टूटने न देंगे, धड़कनों से अपनी तुझको छूटने न देंगे, अलविदा ना हुई तू हमारी तो क्या, अलविदा अलविदा अलविदा, हम तो तेरे रहेंगे सदा.
Absolutely amazing. I wanted to ask you about your Instagram profile. You have deleted all your pictures and videos from social media platform. And why is it so? And now it says Adnan Sami 2.0. Your fans are very curious. What does that mean?
Well, actually, I feel as if, first of all, I feel as if I'm moving into a new phase in my musical journey. And I've been feeling these kind of vibes for quite some time, and my whole attitude. I think over the pandemic, I think a lot of us had a lot of free time to reflect upon where we were in life, because usually when you're in the middle of everything, life is moving so fast that you don't really get the time to sit and analyze things too often. So this pandemic gave me an opportunity to sort of reassess where I was in life and what I wanted to do, how I wanted to approach the forthcoming phase of my life. And it made me reevaluate and reassess a lot of things. And so this is my first song release in this new phase of my life. I've gone through a tremendous kind of a transformation, as it were, not just physically, but emotionally and, spiritually and even musically. So, I felt that, if I'm going to start this new phase, because I feel very different, my whole attitude has changed. So I said, okay, let's share that, and let's bring that forth in your public approach, in your image, and the way you're going forward in life. So I decided that all my previous Instagram posts, I didn't want to delete them, which a lot of people thought I deleted them. I just archived them. So
Okay.
I wanted to clean the slate. And start this new phase with a fresh, with all fresh postings. And of course, because I'm internally, I'm feeling like a new person. So I said, okay, fine. So there's no harm in sharing the facts with everybody else. So that's why I went and I said, this is Adnan 2.0. And so therefore, that's why there was this change. Now, having said that, I did that with the attitude that, all right, okay, my first post in this is going to be Alvida, because that's the title of my new song.
Yeah.
And so I just posted that one slide and one word, Alvida. And frankly, I didn't realize that suddenly people will start coming up with their own interpretation ki kya hai ye love, kahin se, people started to get worried. People started to come up with their own wild imagination, their own interpretation. And some people started thinking, is he okay? Is he going through some depression? And some people started to give me lectures and comments that be strong. And life. No matter what happens in life, you've got to go through it. And you've always been a strong person, and so on and so forth. Some people even went to the extent of saying, "Listen, if not for yourself, do it for your daughter. She needs you." And I'm like, dude. Everything is okay. It's just a song, it's just a title. It's just a word. I've not said anything. God forbid, I'm very happy with life. Of course, then the next day I posted a small teaser, and I think that sort of clarified everything that there's no such drastic step that is going to happen, but everything is good, So that's what happened, basically.
Yeah, so talking about the change, I must say you're inspiring so many people out there with your transformation. Talk to me about your weight loss journey, your Maldives pictures that went viral on social media. What's the secret and how difficult has it been for you? Take us through it.
Well, as I think everybody knows who knows me, I've had massive issues with weight, At my peak, I reached 230 kilos, which is one hell of a weight to achieve. But so I lost a lot of weight, and from time to time I keep, as I call it, yo-yoing, a little bit, 5 or 10 kilo, kabhi upar ho jate, kabhi thode kam ho jate, etc., etc. So again, it's been, people who suffer from weight issues. It's frankly speaking a lifelong, struggle. It's not as if you lose weight once and say, right, that's it. I'm done with this. I'm going to be slim for the rest of my life. No, you have to constantly work towards it, And sometimes you put on a little bit of weight, then you lose it, then you put on, so. But, it requires a lot of discipline. It requires a lot of, mental strength. I would say when you're trying to lose weight, it's about 80% mental strength and 20% physical. It's always mind over matter. So when I went to Maldives, I just decided to post some photographs. I had no idea that they would suddenly go viral in the sense that in the manner in which they did. But nevertheless, I mean, it's good to know that people notice these things, and people are very, very, they're very, very vigilant these days. So I've learned my lesson, especially by the fact that, one word can make such a sensation. So a photograph speaks 1,000 words, I guess, So,
Yeah, of course.
so that's basically, I've been working hard in trying to sort of cultivate my mental strength, my inner spirituality, my physicality, because I think all of these things you need to work towards, and I think that's where the 2.0 again comes in.
Of course, yeah. But your fans also want to know, if you followed a certain diet, what does your regular meal looks like, during weight loss journey?
Well, I mean, I normally joke around and I say that, I went on a seafood diet. No, seafood, oh, what fish? No, seafood, sea, But yeah, I mean, the point is that, it's not, I follow a high protein diet, I follow a high protein diet. I try to avoid carbs and all that. But you see, the truth is that you cannot prescribe one diet for everybody generally, because everybody's got a different body. Everybody's body responds differently to different foods. I mean, there are people out there, for example, they can eat an entire horse, for example, and nothing will happen to them. Their metabolism is tremendous, And there's some people who will have a little bit of food and suddenly it'll just pile onto their body, So everybody's chemistry is different, so you cannot prescribe one particular diet for everybody. But for me, what worked for me was a high protein diet.
Adnan, what are those 5 tips would you like to give out to those who want to lose weight and are struggling to do so?
Well, first of all, consult a dietitian, because don't just go onto the internet and think that, because the internet has these they promote these particular diets, whatever they may be, and they'll say, you want to lose 10 kilos in 2 months, this is the diet for you. No, don't do that, because, your body can respond in a very different way. Everybody's body breakup, chemical breakup is very different. So first of all, don't do anything on your own. Consult a medical professional, dietitian. And secondly, exercise. Thirdly, nobody can make you diet. Only you can. So, don't do it to satisfy somebody. Don't do it to do a favor for somebody, because you're not doing a favor for anybody. You're doing it for yourself. And don't do these kind of diets where you say, you know what, कल 2 महीने के बाद मेरे रिश्तेदार की शादी है. I have to fit into a certain dress for that particular wedding, or that a certain, I have to, because if you do that, I mean, 95% chances are that once that particular event is over, and if, let's say, you did fit into that particular dress, you'll probably double your weight after that, because you're going to go on a binge. So don't do that. And secondly, whatever you do, if you are overweight, you need to understand one thing, and that is that your struggle with weight is going to be lifelong. And so therefore, don't try to just go on a diet. Change your lifestyle. You have to, your approach to food in general has to change. So you need to, whatever you do now, you need to think that you need to sustain it for the rest of your life.
Coming back to the music, Adnan ji,
yes.
Take me back in time to the days when everyone's playlist had all your iconic songs, from Tera Chehra to Lift Kara Do. I mean, it was a crazy decade of back-to-back hits. How did it all begin for you, starting right from your childhood? How has your journey been? Give us some anecdotes.
Well, I started playing the piano at the age of 5. My father was in the diplomatic service. He was ambassador to 14 countries. So we were always moving from country to country, in my childhood, all over the world. And when I was 5 years old, he was ambassador to Portugal, in Lisbon. Now, the thing is that for ambassadors, the ambassadorial residence is always furnished. So you arrive basically with just your own personal belongings, clothes, a few photographs. The rest of the house has already been furnished. It's already there. It's the official residence of the ambassador. It just so happened that in Lisbon, the ambassador's residence happened to have a piano. It was already there in the house. So, I don't come from a musical family, as as you would imagine, and so therefore, but everybody in my family loves music and loves poetry and arts and literature and so on and so forth, regardless of whether it is from the east or from the west. I mean, my father was crazy about the arts, so he loved music. So when there was a piano there, I mean, that's when I got fascinated by that instrument, and I slowly and gradually started to play it. And my father was delighted that I was playing the piano, and so he started to encourage me. And so I composed my first piece of music around the age of 7, and so therefore that journey started first as a hobby, and later on, I mean, my father said to me that, look, I'll support you in your music, but listen, get yourself a proper education, which is very important. And I will support you in every way I can. So he sent me to England. I studied. I was at rugby school. Then I went off to University of London, King's College, and Lincoln's Inn, and I became a barrister at law. So once I finished that, I said, listen, now I want to concentrate completely on music. He said, look, I don't know anything about the music business. So now that you've got your education sorted, go ahead and give it a shot, which I did. And I was grateful that people liked my music, and then I came to India in 1999, and my first track that was released here with Asha Bhosle ji, was Kabhi To Nazar Milao, and that's when the whole thing started for me in India. My first album was in 1986. I was hardly 17, 18 years old at that time, and that was a classical album on the piano. And that was with myself on the piano, and Ustad Zakir Hussain on the tabla. So it has been a long journey. I started very young, and but like I said, many albums later, today it still feels as if it was the first time.
Yeah, always. If you could sing, 2 lines of Lift Kara De, or your first song with the song that you just mentioned.
Okay, whichever one. Kabhi to nazar milao, kabhi to kareeb aao, kabhi to nazar milao, kabhi to kareeb aao, jo nahi kaha hai, kabhi to samajh bhi jao, हम भी तो हैं तुम्हारे दीवाने हो दीवाने, हम भी तो हैं तुम्हारे दीवाने हो दीवाने.
Such a lovely voice. How has Indian cinema evolved over the years? I want to know from you, especially in the last 75 years, and what difference do you see in the music that is being composed right now in comparison to that was made back then in 1960s or 50s maybe?
Well, I mean, cinema, like any art form, keeps evolving, and, like, for example, the cinema of the past, for example, just duration. I mean, there was a time when movies used to be at least 3 hours long, right? In the 50s and 60s, there used to be 8, 9, 10, sometimes 12 songs in a film. As opposed to today, movies have, and they were very dramatic, they were very theatrical, they were very larger than life. Even the emotions, the expressions, there was a lot of cinematic license in the stories also, which were sort of very far-fetched in reality, but acceptable in that era of time. Today, first of all, movies have become much shorter in length. The acting style has become far more toned down, more realistic, The stories have become more realistic. You know, if you know, in the past, if there was a macho, you know, Rambo kind of a character, he would beat up 20 people at the same time, and then right after that, he'd go and sing a song and dance around the bushes. You know, I mean, and people accepted that. And I mean, I'm not trying to mock it. It was something that was very beautiful, and it was very nice at that time. You know, and it's even today, if I see that, I mean, some of the greatest songs that you've had. I mean, you know, if you see films like Sholay, or if you see films like Diwar, you know, you had one of the most upright police officers like Shashi Kapoor in Diwar, and then suddenly he comes up with "Keh do tumhe kya chup rahu," and you accepted that, you know.
Yeah.
Today, if you see Ab Tak Chhappan, for example, and suddenly if he breaks off into, if Nana Patekar suddenly breaks off into a song, you say, "Excuse me, what's going on here?" It won't be acceptable, you know. So, but that was beautiful at that time, and today what we have is also beautiful.
But you know, Adnan, there's also a remix culture that has come in.
Yeah, I mean, you see, the point is, I mean, remix culture, frankly speaking, is not really a new phenomenon. I mean, remixes have been happening even in the 90s. You know, and the West has been doing cover songs all the time. I mean, you know, Dean Martin did Sway, right? A beautiful song, Sway, and that was basically that was a cover that was an English version of a Latino song, right? And then after that, so many people did Sway, and you can call those as remixes. You know, Pussycat Dolls did it. So many people did it. Michael Bublé did it. I mean, so the thing is, even in our culture, we've had you know, Roop Tera Mastana, Chura Liya Hai Tumne, 90s से चले आ रहे remixes. So ये कोई नई phenomena नहीं है. वो आप उससे you can argue that, you know, today's remixes are not as good as the ones in the past or whatever. But the fact is that this is actually not a new phenomenon. Yes, one thing I would say, and that is that the quantity of the amount of remixes as opposed to original compositions has changed. I mean, there's more emphasis being given to remixes, and people or producers or music companies wanting to play a little bit more safe. कि भाई आपको पता है कि ये गाना जो था वो पहले बहुत बड़ा hit था. It was a huge hit. So let's play safe and just redo that song and rehash it in a new way. And we will not be burning our money because we are pretty sure that it's going to be a hit again. So the thing is that ratio of remixes has become more now than before. But it's not a new phenomenon. It has been going on for a long time, for better or for worse. I mean, I personally, obviously being a composer, and I believe that we need to have more original songs coming out because, you know, every generation deserves to have original songs that they can identify with. They don't have to share it with any other generation. I feel that is very important. And people
All
need
right.
to... Yeah.
I'm running out of time, Adnan. On that note, I will take your leave. But before I say Alvida, I will request you to sing a few lines from any of your favorite songs that you can relate with in your personal life.
Oh, all of them are autobiographical as far as I'm concerned. But since you mentioned this, Meri unchi shaan mawla, meri arzi maanne mawla, tu hai sab kuch jaanne wala, main hu tera maanne wala, mujhko bhi to lift kara de, thodi si to lift kara de, mujhko bhi to lift kara de, thodi si to lift kara de.
That was lovely, Adnan. Thank you so much for joining us, and all the best for Alvida. Hope to see you sing and be seen more often on screen.
Thank you very much. Alvida, alvida.
हाथ तूने छोड़े हौले हौले ख्वाबों के तार तूने तोड़े हौले हौले हाथों से हाथ तूने छोड़े हौले हौले ख्वाबों के तार तूने तोड़े